So we got the Modern Showcase Challenge coming up in like 2 days, 3 days, something like that. So got to figure out what kind of 75 I'm going to be running for that. Um, Today, at least for the first league, we're giving a shot to Sauron's Ransom. I've played the card before, wasn't a big fan of it, but figure I'll circle back around, give it a shot. Personally, I think all the 3 mana options in Dimir are like a little overcosted, but can't really have too much of an opinion if you don't at least give the card a try in the current modern format. Some people I know, like Hummingbird, have been of the opinion that modern's slowing down a little bit, so Sauron's Ransom could be a little bit better. But we'll see. The rest of the main deck, we have kind of got a core figured out with Push, Consider, Counterspell, Bowmaster, Frog, Force, Sync, Subtlety, Murktide, a couple of the flex spots like Thoughtseize I have been liking in the main. I don't think it's an end-all be-all, but it's a good value card. Kaito's completely to the sideboard. 4 Consign, 2 Harbinger, 2 Scolding, a Surgical. I added in a Shoot the Sheriff to the board. I've seen a few more Dimir mirrors, so I kind of like having an extra answer to Murktide. Also answers things like Scion and Draco or Plage. So just a little more versatility in the board. Where main deck, I'm looking more for Ketchermos for Cameo and Emery and that sort of stuff. Arcane Charm seems strictly better than Ransom. Usually I agree. I think both of them are kind of draw 2 random cards. Either you know what the 2 cards are, they're face down, and you don't. I don't think the putting stuff in the graveyard matters all that much, especially if your graveyard's like already under duress with a bunch of main deck relics and stuff. Some people have had good success like making Frog a ring bearer. So who knows? Like, it's been a minute since I played it. Figure we'll at least give it a shot and see what happens. What did they ban? Nothing yet. Don't think the ban announcement is till what, like a week and a half from now, 2 weeks from now, something. Modern League. Frog. Join. Go. When's the ban announcement? Like the 30th? March 31st is the announcement. Breach ban would definitely slow the format a bit. I would agree. Ugh. Very land heavy hand. We do have a turn 2 Frog and a bunch of stuff I can potentially throw into a Frog. I got a couple looks at a blue spell to force. Really not a good hand. This back. Should have kept the first. Go back the Undercity and a Subtlety. Have my second land untapped for Counterspell. Gonna feel really bad if I'm up against something slow and that turn 2 Frog with a force backup would have just gotten there. But with so much stuff like Spell Snare, Counterspell, Fatal Push, if that Frog just like doesn't get to untap, not getting anywhere for me. Catchy 7 and Unkeepable 6. Just how he drew it up. Blooming Marsh. Did it get main deck Veil of Summered? Are we high rolling? Take the Fell and Pray. I guess they do need like multiple lands for any of these 3-drops. 3-drops, 4-drops. All right. We'll try to just slow the game down a little bit. Picked up a Dolthy Voidwalker. We're taking that. Currently haven't answered to it. Second land again. I'll keep the Undercity. I'll have Counterspell up. It gives me my 4th land for subtlety, a little more filtering potential. Get my Counterspell. Okay. Go, power, subtlety, chain. Right. Yeah, we're just throwing this subtlety out there, I think. Maybe we untap and find a Murktide. They find a Soul Spike. Okay. This is what the card's here for. I'm just gonna main phase it in case I find like land Murktide. I know they have a push, a Necrodominance, and a Bowmaster, so I know they're 3 cards. I'm taking pile 2. Consider islands kind of mid. Sauron's Ransom. So good. Such an excellent magic card. Very game change. Very wow. Look at how fantastic it looked here. Having 4 dead cards on top of library isn't about Ransom being good, bad. It's not, but it really showcases the idea of like, this card is random. It's not like a dig 4 deep. It's it might be good, it might not. You can't really bank on it being one or the other. You're gonna get what you get. So, good instep. Play our newly acquired Bowmaster. See how much opponent wants to draw. It does not draw anything. I do unfortunately know that their last card is Fatal Push. All right. What you got? Opponent kind of forgot to Fatal Push the Bowmaster. I don't know if we saw that, but I do know that their last card was Fatal Push. We'll take it. Just how we drew it up. All right. I wonder what the green is for. We saw Blooming Marsh. I don't really know what that would potentially be for. Shoal, the green shoal, the pitch cards shoal, never actually hard cast this shoal. That shoal. Wrist. Wrist could be a thing. They're never like hard casting the green shoal ever, right? There's like no reason to put a green source in your deck for it. Stream of Life. Card. Stream of Life. Oh, never seen that card before. Saw plenty of Golgari Necro. I've seen Golgari, or I've seen Necro with Shoal. I've never seen them run a green source. Because like hard casting your Shoal just doesn't accomplish like anything. You're gonna be paying like 4 life or 4 mana to gain 2 life. It just doesn't matter. Takes my Force a negation. We could hit another force, a counter spell, take third land. What are they exiling to Shoal? Usually the versions running Shoal are running like the Autochthon Worm or whatever. The big stuff and just all right, so the Underground Mortuary was their top deck for turn. But usually they're running the Autochthon Worm and just treating it like Gristlebrand. Just draw a bunch and then have the ability to gain back. Take that one. Something like Veil. It'll be kind of hot. I think I'm letting this go and looking for a fetch for Sauron's Ransom or for Fatal Push. But I'm going to Sauron's Ransom in response. See if we can like guarantee get the fetch. But I'd kind of rather use up this push on Shieldred than use the counter spell on it. I'm taking Bloodstained Mire consider because it's kind of just what I need. What would be face down? I mean, I guess I can always subtlety if, like, I see something double fetch or something. Fine. Got a Shieldred. No cowards. I'm a little bit of a coward. Sauron's Ransom is good for streaming and content. I'll give it that. All right. Ready for peak gaming. Sometimes you got to make your own revolt. I'm going to wait until next turn to Kaito. I want to be able to pick up Surveil into a land and hold up Counterspell. I don't want to pick up and then just like not be able to do anything after. Or just pick up the Subtlety. That's also just pretty good. One, two, three, four, five. There's a Murktide. Carry on. Presenting lethal. Opponent should not have fetched right there. because now I don't have to do anything to present lethal. At least before I had to like ninjutsu in. Yay. All right, Sauron's Ransom. We'll give it a pass on that second one. The first Ransom was absolute booty cheeks, but second Ransom we'll give a pass to. We'll see if opponents had any published results. What the list is like. Opponent 17 days ago playing Ad Nauseum. Heck yeah. That's his Oracle, Profane Tutor. No way that's what they're playing here, right? No shot. It's actual Ad Naus. Oh my god, it's actual Ad Naus. Actual factual Ad Naus. I'm just taking spoils. Yep. Actual factual Ad Nauseum. What a time to be alive. Top off the preordain. Frog off the top. I don't know. I like Ransom quite a bit. It's my safe choice when I don't know the meta. It always does stuff and it fills the grave. I just think like a 3-mana cantrip is kind of an awful safe choice. I feel like I would rather my safe choice be extra consider or extra preordain or something, not a 3-mana option. Blue, thank you so much for the comment. Glad the FrogTide content has hopefully helped you out. Unless you're saying like, thanks for the content, I use it to fall asleep at night because it's so boring. In which case, dang, kind of harsh. After that video, I played the South America Regional and I managed to go to the Pro Tour. Hell yeah. Congrats. That's awesome. Big shout out for Lou. Let's tell us about your experience. What kind of stuff did you play against? Any interesting matches? Not immediately disqualifying the card here, but historically, cards that let your opponents make decisions is usually not too effective. I would agree. Like, to me, Sauron's Ransom is 3 mana, draw 2 cards at random. There's little, like, minor nuances of, oh, maybe I get to know what the card is before I draw it. But especially if you take the face down cards, it's just random. And Archmage's Charm can like give you the 2 draws at random with other relevant modes. So I feel like if you want a 3-mana card advantage slot, you just like play something that's more likely to do something good for you when it's not just doing the card advantage thing. Probably could have just ransomed there. Oh well. Historically, Fact or Fiction has been one of the most busted card advantage ever. Busted card advantage ever when it was like the only option for card advantage. Because, I mean, we've seen Pro Tour top 8s with Peer Through Depth before. I wouldn't say Peer Through Depth is like a busted card, but when that's like the top of your options, then yeah, it looks pretty good. But there's a reason that like nobody plays Fact or Fiction now. It was okay as like a 1 or 2 of in the Uro decks when putting Uro in your yard was significantly better. Like having it in the main, having it in your hand, or having it in the graveyard are both like excellent options. But that's the only time we've seen Fact or Fiction played in like a decade, right? Why not Brain Surge or stock up instead of Ransom? Card looks like crap because we got to try it out eventually, right? Like I do not think Sauron's Ransom is the best option, but I also don't think I'm allowed to have an opinion on the card without trying the card. We've played it previously, like months ago, right after Lord of the Rings came out, or a year ago, whenever it was, but haven't played it recently, so this is my play it recently. But there's a reason that none of the lists that I post or playing challenges or RCs or whatever have had Sauron's Ransom. I just wanted to explicit the fact that I hate this card. Completely reasonable. I don't think it has to be your cup of tea. Like, I respect Hummingbard's opinion a lot, and I think that the card probably has been good for them, but just historically, it hasn't been good for me. So I'm taking everything with a grain of salt. I need to get this subtlety into play and get a clock going. All right, so they've got an Angel's Grace, a Thassa's Oracle, 2 unknowns, and a Lotus Bloom on suspend. I feel pretty well equipped to fight over the actual combo. But like right now, I need to decide between just jamming subtlety or going for Sauron's Ransom. I don't care about the unlife. Like, yeah, it might take an extra few turns to kill them, but I really don't have a clock right now. Speaking of draws, what do you think about the new rare draw 3, discard 1 for 3 mana that it has harmonized? I have not seen that card. Do you have a link to the spoiler? I'm just gonna jam out the subtlety here. Frodo blackmails Sauron until he got some ransom from him. I don't really know what this is in reference to. Winter Night Stories. 2 in a blue sorcery, draw 3, then discard 2 cards unless you discard a creature. Discard 2 unless you discard a creature. That's a pretty big additional line of text to what you said earlier. Harmonize, may cast this card from your graveyard for its harmonized cost. You may tap a creature you control to reduce the cost by X, for X is the power, then exile this spell. That doesn't look particularly appealing to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but doesn't look like it does much that I'm particularly interested in. 3 mana sorcery speed. Sorcery speed. Draw 3, then discard 2 unless you discard a creature. We're not a very creature-dense deck. Imagine this with Goryo's. Well, you didn't specify with another deck. And I still don't think Goryo's wants this. Like, I think the sorcery speed is a lot more detrimental than you're giving it credit. It's like 3 mana, try to set up for a Goryo's Vengeance, but there's no guarantee you're going to have a target to discard in hand. And if you don't, it looks way, way worse. We're just taking the Murktide Mire, right? Based on my hand, I can't think of anything that's like better. Spell Snare Frog, sure. Now we've got a Ring Bearer Subtlety. Ah. He's bearing them rings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we do have full-size Murktide Regent. Yeah, I'd absolutely say test it and let us know how it goes. It's just looking at it initially, the card does not excite me in any meaningful way. I usually really want cards to be like interesting or not really doing anything for me, is it? Whenever your ring bearer attacks, draw a card, then discard a card. So we'll attack in, put them down to 3, ring bearer again, start filtering or something. The Battle Toad, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. Passes Oracle. Same to me. Well, I get to be here playing Magic. Like, how much better can it get on my end? Opponent's 4-0ing. Deal. Respect. That's how we make it look really good, is opponent just decides they don't want to deal with it anymore. All right, so opponent's gonna burn an Angel's Grace here. We'll put him down to 1. Pass the turn, ditch, dismember. Yay. Eventually, we'd go for Sink into Super on the Phyrexian Unlife when they're tapped out, but not really much of a reason to do it before then. I think anything between Consign, Harbinger, Surgical could have some relevant text on it, especially Surgical and Consign. Harbinger, I'm more just thinking like maybe we can cut them off white or black or something if they don't have Lotus Bloom. Golding does hit Thoracle, but so does Snare. And I feel like Snare's got more potential for overlap than Scolding does. Gonna rock with the snares. I guess we want to stop ads for multiple streamers. It's cheaper for me to sub to Twitch Turbo. Yeah, I think it's like once you get to 3 people you're subbed with, isn't Twitch Turbo like $12 or something? I know I've got it because I like not having to deal with ads. There's at least 3 people that I would normally sub to. Got too much stuff for the matchup. I was very geared up for the Ad Nauseum matchup. Had it pegged in my spotlight. Also find Bowmasters kind of lack. Oh wait, sorry, I missed your last comment. I've been running the Oculus version of Frog. Do you think it's okay? Find that I like the way it can just end games so fast, but feels very soft to graveyard hate. Also find Bowmasters kind of lackluster. Do you think Oculus is just not the way to play the deck? Personally, I'm not a fan of Oculus at the moment, just because, like you said, you have a much tougher time against Grave Hate. And like every deck right now is running main deck Grave Hate. Whether it's Relic of Progenitus in the Ketchermos decks, or Thraben Charm in Boros, Soul Guide Lantern in Breach. Just every deck has got some way of nuking the graveyard, which makes it really, really awkward to be super reliant on it. I think Murktide, like, people see Murktide and think that it's really difficult to play through Grave Hate with Murktide. It's like, oh, you can't cast your Murktide if they nuke the yard. But it doesn't shut off 4 Oculus, 4 Unearth, a little bit more out of your deck, it just shuts off like 3, maybe 4 Murktide. And it's a lot easier to rebuild to recast one when you only need like 3 cards in your yard with 4 lands, as opposed to Oculus needing the full 4 cards in your yard. I don't know if there's something on turn 2 I need to be concerned about. Like, I don't know if they're still running the 2 mana, the mana rock that gets counters equal to the number of colored mana used to cast it. All right, Profane Tutor, sure. Have I tested Otherworldly Gaze? I have not, and I don't particularly want to. I think it's too... Going down on a card to try to set up is not worth it when so many decks have main deck ways to mess up that setup. That makes sense? Like, you can kind of justify going down a card for setup when you're doing something that's just like insanely powerful. But I don't think Oculus is so insanely powerful that you can afford to go down a card just to try to get it rolling. How annoying is it if opponent has Leyline of the Void and play with this deck? Not really. Leyline's kind of fine. It's way more annoying in Oculus than it is in FrogTide. One less card for maybe doing my thing, but almost certainly being not able to. One less card for maybe doing my thing, but almost certainly being not able to. You lost me there. All right, let's jam the Harbinger. I don't know what they're going to get off this Profane Tutor, but maybe they have to adjust and get like a basic land now because of the Harbinger. And that's kind of a win for me. Yeah, people hate on Thought Scour a lot, but I think it's better than most options just because it does replace itself. And it's like the best rate for a yard filling cantrip. It's kind of underappreciated. Play this out pre-combat in case I need to subtlety. I could have just gotten like a Dismember. Chromatic Lantern. Chromatic Lantern. I think I'm going to take that. They could have just like gotten a land with this Profane Tutor and then had Lantern, and that'd have been pretty funny. I wonder if I need to surgical the Profane Tutor. Like, their hand's not very good. If they get a basic here, they can suspend the profane tutor. Never mind. Cool. Let's think about that real quick. Lantern's gone. I don't really care about Thoughtseize because I have Frog Harbinger going. I'd assume they'd get basic swamp here, unless they don't have a basic swamp, and that's why they had to get the lantern. Yeah, probably surgicaling the profane tutors here on draw step. That's like cuts out the most potential outs. I feel like Dimir started 2-0 in a lot of leagues. It does. It kind of feels like the other category of modern, just like the non tier 1, tier 2 decks. You have a pretty good time against. And starting off a league, there's a good chance you're going to face against a couple people that are 0-0, 0-1, 1-1, something like that. My experience, it's the other way around. You struggle versus randoms and farewell versus tiers. I feel the opposite, honestly. Not that you like struggle versus the tiers, but a lot of the randoms, like I don't know how many times I see a random deck that just folds to like a frog. Just play out a turn 2 frog and there's nothing they do. Hmm. So I know I'm keeping 2 lands. Kind of like keeping Dismember, Thoughtseize, Murktide, ditching something between Bowman and Snare. I like Bowman. Hmm. Well, they don't have untapped red mana or black mana. That's a really awkward set of lands on the draw. That's a really awkward set of lands on the draw. Whenever we discard, they top deck the right color for the other spell. True. True, true, true. Right. Go, go, power psychic frog. I could just jam a big Murktide here. Like, Force isn't doing anything for me. See if I can resolve a spell here and probably go for a Murktide on my turn. Ragioli. All right, opponent. You're going to be really nice to me, and you're going to main phase jam this Felia. I just tapped off counterspell. You want the Felia. Coward. Absolute coward. Never met someone so cowardly in my life. Hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. I need to get this Murktide down. I don't think I want to play safe because I don't really have the answers to play safe. Like, I don't have just a general counter spell. All I've got is answers to Felia or cards that aren't really getting played. Mm. We have a redraw, cantrip, and a draw per turn. But, like, what are we drawing out of those cards that's making the situation better for us? Mm. Oh, is this counter spell? Like, let's say we hadn't have played Dangerous and hadn't have played out the Murktide. We'd be at this same spot, still 3 lands. We wouldn't be able to play out the Murktide now if we found the counter spell, or we'd be like a turn farther along with them having an extra draw, maybe an extra like 2 or 3 draws. Would have played the Merc. Well, then how would we have played safer if you would have played the Merc? Because, like, we couldn't tap out. We knew that they had the Felia to flash in, so I had to keep up the mana open, so I had to discard a card to the Frog. I think it was like either play Merc or play safe. I don't think there was a way to do both. Ragavan. Mentioned at one point to discard your hand to play Big Merc 2 turns before. That was like the turn before, yeah. Yeah, that's fair to not do it the turn before. I thought you were talking specifically the turn we did. What am I supposed to think about Ragavan? Is it like Ragavan, Flage? Are they not on Tetramos? Do they have relics? Just tune in. How's Ransom performing? It's been okay so far. I don't want to say like great, but it hadn't been. It was awful the first time, but we just had like 3 out of 4 lands off the top, so nothing we could have done about that. Any specific matchups you bring Kaito in? Pretty much anything that's going like really heavy on Grave Hate, I'll bring in Kaito. Or any deck that has really heavy 1-for-1 spot removal, like blue-white control or Jund or something like that. Since Kaito dodges a lot of that stuff. But black-white's like the matchup you really want it for. There's Flage. Kind of assume that based off Arena. Enabler for a Flage. So I could consider and try to find a subtlety. Or I could go get a Surveil land. And Sexix, what's up? I think I'm just going to get a Surveil. Xenu Keen-Eyed. You gain 2 life and scry 2. When a legendary creature you control attacks and isn't blocked, if it's exiled, put it onto the battlefield attacking. That is a magic card. It's that list. Clearly. Now we're on the same page. I'm just gonna jam a frog here. I never liked. You never liked Sauron's Ransom. I'm not a big fan of it. This is the first time that I've really like played it since around when MH3 dropped. Or not MH3, Lord of the Rings dropped. Okay, it's come back. This can come back off an attack when it's been exiled to a solitude. It's just if it's in exile. That's kind of funny. All right, gotta hold up. Or no. No, I should have just played out the frog there. For some reason I thought I still had the counter spell. Just don't think making my opponent choose piles is worth it. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. We're just doing that and stunning down the flage. I thought about Dismember plus Bowman. The problem there is like I really don't do anything to progress my board. Like I kill the flage, but I don't feel like it really stops anything. I think I need to have like something on the board that's better than Bowman to try to build a presence. My personal 2 cents. And I kind of want Dismember for that. All right. They've got this thing, the legendary. Why is everything legendary? So if I bolt in the sink into stupor, I can hold up Bowman, Dismember, counter spell, lose a lot of life. Got the ephemerate. Works down. Thalia resolves. I have to block both of these or these things come back. This is going to be like attack, shoot the frog. Yep. They're shooting the frog and they're blinking the frog just in case. They also have this other flage, so like even if I kill the Thalia, they can just escape the other one. Give me a solitude. Yep. I feel like there's no reason to let me go to my draw step when you just have this solitude. Like, just exile the frog at the end of your turn. Don't risk me running, like, counterspell into something else. Did OP forget to play the bird? It's free, but only if you have an unblocked legendary creature attacking. They didn't have an unblocked creature or unblocked legendary. I'm also kind of wanting some number of Murktide back. I don't think they're on Relic and Ketramos. I feel like there's just not enough room. Spell Snare looks like it only hits Belia. Deck was played with Catcher 2 at Charlotte. There's no way they have enough room for Ketramos, though, right? With everything else that we've seen, plus that random legendary thing. I feel like it's impossible for them to also have Ketramos and Relic. Maybe like Ketramos, no relics. I don't know, but seems like it's asking too much. No, I can't play that right now, but I feel like I need it eventually. Hold steady. Might need subtlety at Overlord here. Here you go. Sure enough. Haven't seen Emperor, haven't seen Ketramos. I have no idea how they fit all this stuff. All right. Come on. Untapped land. Come on, untapped land. Overlord back on top. Nice. Got. All right, so we're going to take the Overlord because all three of the other cards need 2 colors to cast. The Overlord just needs a black mana. Time to pray for no solitude ever. Yeah, if they only had a single white card, I'd probably take it. Now I'm just digging like crazy to try to find counter spells, stern scolding, something, subtlety, something to protect this Harbinger from a solitude. Okay. Okay. I want to wait on the Sauron's ransom to see if I can get a little more information. I don't want to fire it off and then have them respond with a solitude. All right. All right, good, 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 good. Get there, little harbinger. Get there, little harbinger. Now I will fire it off on their end step. Four zero, 4-0, come on. You don't want to split these up. I don't care about Murktide push, so I'm just taking the second pile. Sweet. And I'm not casting out the frog. I'm just sitting on double counterspell from now till the end of the game. All I need to do is hit him twice, and then the Bowmaster ping can finish things off. Harbinger! Harbinger! Nice. Nice. Love to see it. Cool deck. I just really have no idea how they fit everything in that deck with like any sort of consistency. They've got no Flicker Wisp. This Xenu thing just doesn't seem worth it to me, but I could be wrong. Yeah, 2 times Ephemerate push, pending relic. This card doesn't seem like where it's at. Especially with it being a legendary. If this thing wasn't legendary, maybe you could convince me, but running 4 of a card that's like only getting back 1 copy seems not worth it. We already play this person this league. So. Played multiple other M-named opponents. Xenu is such a sick card. It is a very sick card. I just don't think I would say good card. I've seen 27 days ago on Grinding Station. Gonna say opponent out here forgetting they can turn 1 Emery. Life total kind of matters. Sagas. Right? Fair. I have a full new hand. Kept a card on top. like Tamio or Harbinger more in the main deck. Harbinger, I think, has more matchups that kind of shines in. Tamio's a little more generically good, but I think especially in like current modern where Amulet, Eldrazi, Breach are pretty popular, like Saga decks. I think the main deck Harbinger has more application. Mopal, Bobble, Mountain, Lightning Bolt. Can't take a bolt. Like any of the others. I'd be fine if Saga would get the axe. Honestly, fuck that card. Fair. I got Mishra's Bobble, plays it out. There's no reason to target me with this Bobble right here. Wait until my upkeep. I just showed you Thoughtseize turn 1. So all you're doing is drawing into a potential second Thoughtseize. Unless opponent's stream sniping and knows about Bowmaster, which I guess is possible, but at the same time, I feel like if you're stream sniping right here and you know about Bowmaster, oh yeah, well they saw the Bowmaster on top for the Bobble they just cracked. The first Bowmaster, or the first Bobble saw Flooded Strand. Didn't see Bowmaster. They cracked one of the baubles on them. The second bauble they cracked on themselves and fetched away with Misty. Or, no. I take that back. They didn't. They targeted me with bauble and then just fetched with Misty anyway. I don't know if that second one mattered. To be fair, you don't have to snipe to know we're playing Bowman. You don't? I don't know. Like, there's still a lot of Dimir lists that aren't on Bowmaster right now. Regardless of which ones are or are not putting up results. Especially like the Oculus list. Oculus doesn't exist anymore. It does. I think you're trying to equate not existing with like not putting up as much results. But there are still a lot of people playing Oculus because it's a deck they want to play or they already own. Top deck another Breach. Yep. All right, I'll let you do the thing. Maybe subtlety, authorical. Well, we tapped out on turn 2. Screwed up. We could have gone for Bowmaster to kill the token. They'd still be able to untap and play like the Breach here. We still wouldn't have a counter spell, so I don't think it changes anything. I think I'm fine jamming the frog. All right. Like, this is Esper Oculus. And you've got, here's 6 results ranging up to 15th from the Southeast Asia. You've got trophy lists, challenge participants, Charlotte. Like, there's still a lot of people playing Oculus. You might not be running into it, but it is 100% still out there. I don't know if all the Oculus lists are running Bowmaster or what. Skill issue, no counterspell. That's like my favorite argument of all time is when people get into that discussion point of like, oh, just counter the Underworld Breach and you beat Breach. Like, well, what if you don't see the counter? Well, then why didn't you see the counter? Oh, I don't know. My bad. Saw 2 cards. I apologize. I was on the draw. And is what's up? How are we doing today? We're currently 3-0. This is game 1 of match 4. And we're kind of waiting. What if you got 4 counter in hand and they draw 3 Saga like every time I play them? True. We also had just turn 1 Thoughtseize into turn 2 Frog, so it's not like we weren't doing anything here. We interacted, but opponent had, what, triple bobble, so they're kind of able to protect a few draws. We did take a breach. They top decked the second breach. So, to be fair, they did have to hit like mana accelerant plus breach. Just standard Dimir today. The showcase qualifiers and whatnot are coming up this weekend. So I'd rather put some content out that's like, if you're planning on playing the showcase qualifier, this is what I would kind of recommend. We'll narrow it down a bit more today. Today we're playing Sauron's Ransom, I guess, if that counts as spicy. There's the Thoracle. I do want to turn off auto yields because I could subtlety the Thoracle. Maybe find something, who knows. it doesn't really matter because they have enough blue mana to just like grinding station back over the Thoracle and do it again. But what's the showcase qualifiers? It's either Sunday or Monday. I can't remember. I say that as I literally have time to go bring it up. One day, 18 hours, so Saturday morning. Rumble feels like a demonic tutor plus ramp. Rumble is pretty stupid. So they have enough mana to flame, or no, they can't draw to a Flame of Anor because they die. Sink into Stupor, targeting Subtlety. I feel like I wouldn't target the Subtlety there. I'd just target, or no, you can't sink into Stupor the Thoracle, can you? It's opponent controls. Never mind. Am I repeating? I haven't heard anybody else say I was. Your audio for me is duplicated over top of one another. Do you have like Twitch opened and something else? Like another app that might be getting Twitch sound? I don't really like Consign, but I kind of want to try it. Stop the construct making ability on Saga. It's probably just not good enough. I kind of forgot I had Scolding. Yeah, Scolding's definitely better than Subtlety. And better than Bowman. Also have Shoot the Sheriff. Got about a bunch of my sideboard cards. I think Ransom's better than Bowman. I think they're both like pretty bad. It could be fine. Just looking at like that game one, not that that's like the end all be all, but game one, we died on turn 3. So we died before we'd ever even be able to cast Ransom. At least Bowman is castable in those scenarios. And like I get we're on the play here, so it's a little bit different, but just any 3-mana option feels really sketchy when there's a chance I just die for not interacting better. Preordain. Like, if I had something else to bring in, I'd just cut all the Bowmasters, all the subtlety, all of the Sauron's ransoms. But Ride or Die, what's up? If only we had a misstep here. That's what I always try to tell people. Nobody ever listens. Preordained and like the turn 1 Tamio, turn 1 Imri. About to say, just pass back the turn, please. Got the Saga. Bruh. How do you still have 3 cards in your hand? Somebody explain to me how you're allowed to still have 3 cards in your hand. Played out Tamio Preordain on 1. Had triple artifact. I see Grixis Shadow in top 8. Yes. We've gotten that question a few times, few thousand times. Yeah, we played the list on Monday, I think. If they combo off here, they can, but they can combo off every turn. I have to take some opportunity to try to be proactive and enforce a game plan. I can't just sit back and do nothing and like try to wait for a window, because there's just never going to be a window from here out. So I kind of need this frog to like start pushing some damage through. I think I'm going to let him go to blocks. Like, I could discard Merc, Sewers, fly the frog, hit for 3. But I'm going to be under a lot of pressure from this construct token. Once they make another one and get another artifact. So I kind of feel like I just want to kill this one now. Only have to deal with one construct. Yeah, they can get Spell Bomb. I can't do much about that. Okay. But at least I only have to deal with one construct instead of two. Jack Daniels coming in with a Twitch Prime sub. Thank you so much. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. Appreciate you coming by and hanging out. Welcome to the subscribers. Enjoy access to all of our sweet custom Death Shadow emotes. Matt, what's up? What's up? No ban list modern gamer. We're not dealing with an Emery. And look at this. They didn't even get an Aether Spellbomb. Maybe I can find a removal spell for this construct. Better just wait. Your opponents had like 27 cards in hand this entire game. Breach is stupid. No attack. They could have a what's it called? The sink into stupor. The Paul's Magic for 3 years, wanted to start again, played Blue Red Storm and Death Shadow before, found your YouTube channel and binge watched FrogTide videos. Maybe this is my deck to play. I'm all for it. All for it. Play FrogTide with all of your might. Most fun deck you can play. Can't tell me otherwise. An absolute blast. Flame of an Ore, draw 2. Sure. Mr. Freak is also anti-rhinoceroses. You're not wrong. I'm very anti-rhino. If we could burn down the Serengeti of the Magic the Gathering universe, might consider it. Nice, they're up to only 8 cards. And it's only turn 6. And I've had to Stern Scolding and Counterspell stuff. It's fine. This was a fun deck. Was Rhinos a fun deck? I could try to force this. Might not have been the worst idea. Okay. So I can crack the spell bomb, discard all 3, and save the frog. I can go for the force, but if they have a counter spell for the force, then I lose. I'm pretty sure they know about the force. I'm like 95% sure they do. I can crack spell bomb and see what I draw. All right, let's think about what I can control, what I can't control. If their last, or if one of their 4 cards is another bolt, I can beat it by forcing and discarding to the frog. If one of their cards is an unholy heat, I can't beat it. I can't do anything about that, period. I would think they would go for the unholy heat first. I think I'm going in on spell bomb. Or maybe I discard. What if I don't draw and I go for the force? Then I'm not dead to unholy heat. I think I'm going to play around the counter spell. Six, 3, so yeah. I think I'm playing around the counter spell instead of playing around another red removal spell. Nice. Why is Magic so stressful? Why is Magic so stressful? I think I do want at least one consign. I don't know what I would be playing another consign over. I guess like shoot the sheriff. Maybe that's reasonable being on the draw. Yeah, I think that turn kind of came down to if they had an unholy heat, they probably just lead on heat instead of bolt and like make me commit to the spell bomb right away. Maybe not. Maybe that's a bad look for it. I don't know. I do think I like playing around the spell bomb or playing around a counter instead of another removal spell though. See if we can find a good hand on the draw game 3. Opponent snap kept 7. I've got an answer to a turn 1 Emery. If I find a land, I can jam a frog. What sort of dedication does it take to play Breach on MTGO with no big events coming up a week and a half before it's canned? Like, you don't know that it's going to be canned. We assume it is, but there's no just, oh, WotC has come out and said the deck is done. So it's really difficult to say, like, there's no reason to play it. Did the opponent keep a 1-lander? Give me a land. Untap land, untap land, untap land, untap land, untap land. Damn it. Oh boy. This is pod racing. Sure. Still hoping they're generous and just ban Mox Opal. Yeah, be generous indeed. Come on, untap land. Come on, untap land. Is there a world where I'm surgicaling Tameo just to not have to do anything? That. We'll surgical Tameo just to get a look at the deck, so I don't have to discard the hand size. Emery, Underworld Breach, lands. I think they skipped through their turn. I think that's what happened, is they skipped through their turn and were supposed to play another land, but didn't get to. Amber. This kind of sucks because they're going to get to Emery regardless. So I guess I let this one resolve. I'm at 7 life off of 1 land. When it finds a saga, I'm just cooked. I can be generous and ban Underworld Breach, Kozilek Command, Sowing Marcus Bond, Ketamine Move, Psychic Frog, and Guided Souls. That's all. That's a lot of asks. You didn't go for the value breach there. Value breach probably just eats me alive. More lands. Yard is gone. Underworld Breach, unknown, unknown. Give me one more untapped land. No, we'll take that. We will take that. It's down under 5 minutes. Cool. Draw 2. Okay. And it not being nice and letting me draw 2 instead of themselves. It's kind of rude. Okay. So if I take breach, can I jam frog here? If I take breach and pass, they play grinding station, I can sign. That gives them artifact enchantment in the yard. They can fetch off Misty. They probably have a Thundering Falls. They might be able to hit Delirium to Unholy Heat. The alternative would be take Heat, play Frog. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. They play Breach. Can sign the grinding station. Yeah, I think I just take the breach, jam the frog, and hope consign gets there. And if they do end up answering it, if they find delirium, answer the frog, I can hopefully just jam a Murktide on my turn. I don't want to let the grinding station resolve because they can sack something and it gives them so many more looks for delirium. And I can't really afford that. Extra frog or extra Murktide. Okay. Okay, so they don't have another survey of land. I was kind of wondering why they didn't just main phase looking for delirium while I was tapped out, but that explains why not. Don't think this is a Harbinger match anymore. I think this is just ditch Consider, ditch Harbinger, play out a big Murktide. Maybe I'm wrong though. That's too aggressive. Could just play Harbinger and like make them point the unholy heat at it. Also shuts off Rumble if they don't heat the Harbinger. Yeah. You got it. Harbinger dead. Going to 3 when they have bolt is sus, but they only have like 1 bolt. If they're on more, I'd be a little more concerned. Under 3 minutes. Like the breach combo is not slow to click through. You can combo pretty quickly with it. That being said, I'm not sure our opponent at the moment has been very quick about combo. I think now I'm just going in on Frog. Make it like a 3-turn clock with double counterspell up the entire time. Pretty okay draws. Uh-oh. Beat a shifting woodlands. Copying here. We're gonna find out. Yep. One, two, three, four. Woodlands, copy the breach. 1, 2 to cast grinding station. Some stuff. Can't use Mox Amber or Mox Opal. This doesn't do anything. Why is Magic so stressful? We would have lost the Bolt, Bolt, Bolt. We would have, but if you find a breach deck running Bolt, 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 then I got some questions for them. Some beachfront property in Arizona I'd like to sell. Wait, we got to do a prediction. I don't remember what our second match was against. Opponent last seen 2 days ago on Woober. Affinity. What? When Imskir Iron Eater enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is half the number of artifacts you control, rounded down. Well, I'm dead as shit. Keep, because we got a turn 2 frog and a prayer. Oh, it's Hydroid Crisis. Hydroid Crisis, but scarier. We'll lead on Flooded Strand. So if they do nothing, I can get a Surveil. If they do something I need to dismember, I can do that. Gormod's Crypt. Sure. Mod's Crypt. Sure. No, not sure. Bad. Bad Affinity player. Don't like this. Do not like it, Sam. I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. I feel like this has got no targets whatsoever. Here's a Saga doesn't kill you. The Haywire might. It might. Put it on paradoxical outcome. Opal, amber. Land, opal, amber, pick up 6, draw 6. Well, we had a good run. Glad y'all were here for it. Come back next time. See ya. Hope you have a wonderful afternoon. Really anything I can ditch profitably. I guess I could have gotten rid of the polluted delta, but I kind of feel like I want to start hard casting subtleties. The ice looking good. Let me tell you what's not in my 75 at the moment. Your guess was break the ice. You were correct. Refurbish familiar. Enters, each opponent discards a card. So that'll resolve. And I'm going to discard one of these subtleties. Please attack with this Haywire Might. Please attack with this Haywire Might. Kinda rude. I'm just gonna dismember this Haywire Might. I'm just gonna get this off the battlefield so I don't have to spend any mana or anything or jump the frog. They're gonna sack their Saga on their next turn, so they can't get another can't get another Mox Opal profitably. Can't make a construct. What in the fop is that? Sauron's Ransom. Gonna make my frog into a ring bearer. Refurbished familiar. I guess I'm just counterspelling this. I can still subtlety if I have to. Alright, we'll let this go and just ditch the sink into stupor. Might not be in the top 87 plays, but it's there. Technically, you're correct. I got no yard. Survey land. You don't look very good in the face of just discarding my hand. So let's attack Frog and Token. We're doing stuff and things. I'm surprised they didn't just block the frog there. Obviously, like, don't know what the rest of their hand is, but like, is this familiar doing anything at this point? I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the psychic frog. Okay. Well, based on the list they're on, Refurbished Familiar is the only thing that gets hit with Stern Scolding. If this is the list that they're playing right now. Honestly, Thoughtcast doesn't even look that good. Like, Saga triggers is the only thing. Portable Hole ETB. It's got a little use. Snare looks horrible. Subtlety looks pretty mid. Force of Negation doesn't look very good. But I probably want like Force over Murktide, maybe 2, because they do have just multiple Tormod's crypts in the main. Yes, their hand was just pretty bad. I think they had like the Saga start and just couldn't capitalize on that. Like, just didn't have a Mox Opal to start things off and weren't able to turn the corner of God. Lightning Axe. And the Saga. You have to have the Saga on one. The Opal. Bruh. Bruh. You can't have double Saga openers with all of this. I'm gonna keep that Because I can answer some of these saga constructs, but I really need a way to stop like the next top deck after the saga constructs. Dimir my ass. True. Okay, so this one's gonna enter. I'll just member it while I can. While they can't like metallic rebuke or anything. They're not making a second construct. That really surprises me that they're not making another construct right here. Like, even if you got a boots. 7/7 looks like a dead to me. Looks like it doesn't matter. Right. I'll wait to see if they go for the construct. Bruh. Triple saga? No, you can't have triple saga with all of this. It's just illegal and I don't appreciate it. I want you to know I'm not a fan of yours right now. And please, for the name of all things just and holy, give me a harbinger. Not a harbinger. Kind of an odd choice there to Ormod's Crypt in response to the Surveil land when I could have just played out a Murktide. This Urza Saga card seems pretty good. I mean, triple Urza Saga seems pretty good, I would agree. Opponent can be nice and not have 3 of them. Pretty dope. I think the crypt timing was for an Oculus. Did I have 5 exactly in my yard. I understand that. And I would also take the opportunity to laugh maniacally at Bard, who said that nobody plays Oculus and opponents are still making plays that would indicate fear of Oculus. So, ha 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 ha. Na 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 na. All right. I'm going to fatal push before they search. Probably let that construct die. Attack with a construct. Okay. Hope for deluge, he says. Hope for deluge, he says. Ain't nobody hoping for nothing round these parts. You're about 27 turns too late. So I'm going to go ahead. No. If I do this now, I'm just dead to this Guardian thing, right? This is 3, 4, 1. Cost 1. They equip it for 1. I don't think anything really matters. So my best chance is to try to let them just go straight to combat and not play out that and equip it. Not welding jarring when you push. Why? No idea. That's also pretty good. Could not tell you why they didn't welding jar. Okay. Please, opponent. Please, 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 opponent. So their last list didn't have Thought Monitor. So Stern Scolding looks a little bit better here. And I just need opponent to please, 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 for the love of all things just and holy, please, 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 do not have triple Urza Saga again. I'm asking you kindly. Don't have quadruple either. I only know Hercule's recall on the 75. Yeah. Clearly oversight on my part. I said no for Urza Saga either. I specified. Does this hand have a chance at winning? I've got answers to some constructs. Bowman's really good into like Thought Monitor. I kind of think I need to look for a frog. In what world is this an easy keep? I think I need to mull and look for a frog. This doesn't interact with Saga. I wouldn't say it's absolute garbage. I just think that it's missing the I can win potential. Like the ability to pull away if the game starts off well enough. Like, I don't think that hand loses to most of theirs. It definitely loses to like an explosive hand, which is problematic. I'm going to consign a Mopal here. Trying to slow things down a little bit. Glimmer Void. Hadn't seen that one in a while. Lord, redeemed hydrate. Gotcha. They could have a dispatch. I kind of feel like they have a metallic rebuke. And I just don't want to jam the frog main phase into a rebuke. Well, dispatch wouldn't kill right there, but dispatch is going to kill eventually. Opponent said, "Oh no, my mocks." I think they were making fun of me for countering the mocks. All right. I'm assuming this is a metallic rebuke, but I might as well get it out of hand now. Dispatch my frog. Okay. Got another frog. Well, I should send them back a message. Oh no, my psychic frog. Memory Guardian. A cool card. I think I'm okay giving up Push, Deluge, Consider, deal with this thing. I think I'll take that trade. Not trade, but eat. Yard is gone. That's actually pretty cool because it means they can't have Dispatch and Metallic Rebuke as soon as they use that. They also don't have Metalcraft now, so they can't dispatch the frog. Okay, little frog, I need you to do some taking over here. I need you to do some taking over. Your best little frog impression. Another Spire. I'll let Mox Opal go. They don't have Metalcraft right now. Gonna tap out for a Kappa. Probably gonna cast that. Yeah, I think I'm going to. That I did. And pass the turn. If they draw dead, I just discard everything into the frog. Frog! Frog, frog, frog. Getting there. Love to see it. Oh, man. The mental fry there. Let's pay out the believers before I forget that. We'll discuss the deck list a little bit. Prediction. Choose outcome. Hell yeah, Mike wins. Still gaming? Yeah, we still got more. I believed I just didn't bet that way. Fair. So, Dogfish, you came in right at the end of the trophy league. What do we think about the deck? So, Frog's phenomenal. I don't care what anybody says. Frog is like up there in contention for best cards in Modern. And I think if you can play in a way that maximizes your ability to clear the way for Frog and get Frog rolling, it's so good. Obviously, if we could have a turn 2 Frog like every single game, it would be phenomenal, but we can't, so gotta do what we can do. FrogTide, really good that league. Bowmasters, I still think is like probably the weakest card in the main deck. I think it's a good Magic card. I just think that the only reason I pretty much have it in the 75 is because of Kaito out of the board. And if I don't want Kaito, I could see Bowmasters getting the cut really quickly. Thoughtseize was reasonable. Sauron's Ransom. What do we think of Sauron's Ransom? We cast it, like 4 times that league. The first time it hit triple land, so it looked bad. The second time it hit, I think, like Kaito Frog against Black White or against Necrodominance. Third time I feel like was good. I want to say Sauron's Ransom was a hair over 50-50 on hit rate. The graveyard, putting stuff in the graveyard never mattered. The ring bearer part, we did get to double Sauron's Ransom onto a subtlety against what's it called? 5 mana instant, draw all the stuff. Ad Nauseum. We did get to double ring bearer subtlety against Ad Nauseum. And so we got to like loot off of that. The looting didn't end up mattering. Our hand was like pretty stacked before then. The cards in the graveyard never mattered. So as far as I'm concerned, on Sauron's Ransom being a draw 2 random cards, it was like a little hair over 50-50 on hit rate. So whatever you want to consider that. I still think 3 mana is a lot for a draw effect, especially if your like card advantage option is just 2 copies, because the way I look at it is if you're going to Sauron's Ransom, and it did come up a few times that being 3 mana meant we couldn't Sauron's Ransom and do something else. If you're going to Sauron's Ransom, it feels really bad when that is your entire turn to not do anything else. Where like Preordain, we could cast it, maybe find a Murktide or a Frog and play that right then instead of having to pass through and wait on the ransom. Or if we had like Preordain plus Counterspell, we could Preordain, hold up the Counterspell instead of having to Counterspell and not get to do our cantrip and have to wait a whole nother turn cycle to get it off. So I think for those reasons, I'm still not very fond of Ransom. Um, I get the idea of just having like a card advantage spell when you tap out and it draws you a bunch of stuff and you feel really cool about it, but I think I would rather just still have Archmage's Charm than Ransom. At least it's got some more flexibility. Sideboard, Harbinger was great. Stern Scolding was fine. Consigned, great. Surgical, I think we only cast once. Kaito, we did see two black-white matchups. We got to resolve a Kaito in one, but it immediately got vindicated. Spellbomb, great. Deluge. Deluge and Shoot the Sheriff were both pretty mid. I could probably replace those pretty easily. I think those were like the most mid stuff in the sideboard.